Just a little bit of background on what I've been up to here on the farm that's a little bit different. I've sort of been working on biological farming, what I call it, for the last about 6 years. So that biological farming to me means, no insecticides and no fungicides. We still use some herbicides. We focus on biologically friendly fertilisers where we can, which is most of the time. And we've been increasing our diversity through cover crops for quite some time. So we've been working with cool season cover crops for about 6 years now. And we keep tillage to a minimum. It doesn't really look like that right at the moment because we're sorting some drainage out on some paddocks, but we try to practice what I call thoughtful tillage. And we also feed the soil up using livestock manures and crop residues. So like I said, I've been messing around with the cover crops since 2012 and they're sort of a major part of our business now. So sort of got to the point where I've been rolling down the cover crops for some time and having issues with that, like trying to get it into the system that way. So we thought, well, we'll try the cattle. And that's sort of where the question arose, is grazing multi-species cover crops more profitable and better for my health than doing hay? Because I did change from rolling the cover crops down to doing it for hay, and then I'm like, well, are we better off making profit from cattle than doing hay? So that's where the question came about. So is grazing multi-species cover crops more profitable and better for my soil health than doing hay? That's really the crux of what we're trying to work out. And another way to put that is, should grazing multi-species cover crops be part of my farm ecosystem? And I really want to get the word ecosystem into my title of the presentation, because I think that's just a really important part of the mindset that kind of goes with what we're trying to do. So it's going to be obviously a relatively casual presentation. I'm going to forget stuff along the way, so feel free to ask questions at any time as we go. So, the window. Okay, so this is the trial layout. Now, you're coming off the road here at that big double-storey house. You come along here and we're in the shed here. And so it's this paddock here where the trial was done, where this corn's growing at the moment, and that's just located out in that direction. I've just got a bit more of a close up here. This is actually taken from the other end of the paddock, which isn't that handy, but anyway. So what we've done is basically split this paddock in half. It's subsurface drip irrigation, and it's actually separated into 4 different irrigation valves. So it's basically cut in half across here, and then you've got 4 sections of irrigation. But we split it in half right down the middle, so that can irrigate that side in one lump and that side in one lump. And basically on that side of the fence we did the cover crop, which is a diverse mix, which I'll go through in a tick. And that side it was just vetch and oats as a sort of more of a conventional practice, because that's what I would be doing before than doing the multi-species and grazing it. So April 11th, or actually before April 11th, we laser graded the paddock out because we've been having issues with that paddock with drainage. So the rotational or the crop history there, going backwards in time from now, at the moment we've got corn and we had the cover crop which we're going to look at, and before that it was laser graded during the summer. There was a favour bean crop the winter before that. There was corn before the favour bean crop, and there was a multi-species cover crop that was rolled down before that. So yeah, so we had the favour bean crop, and we really had to sort the drainage out. So we laser graded the paddock, and it's only got a fall of 1 in 3,000, which is really very, very flat. So, and we've got beds, we've been experimenting with the beds and thought that was a good idea to put it on the beds. So, and we put out a ton of gypsum at that stage as well. So the next day, after that was healed up, we sowed the cover crop half of it, and that included a mix that went through the large seed box, the normal seed box, and a mix that went through the small seeds box. I'll just quickly run through them now, but they are in your book. But we had cereal rye, oats, wheat, barley, vetch, peas, fava beans, and in the small seeds mix we had spring canola, fodder beet, ryegrass, and subclover, Persian clover, and the Landcare clover. And that was sown with a John Deere single disc drill 1590. So you could sort of sow into those furrows a little bit as well. And that's it. That's where we're irrigating it up with the subsurface drip irrigation. It's not quite blacked out there. That probably would have went for another 24 hours before it was fully irrigated. And then, what was that, the April 13th? And then we just got that crop out of the ground, and we had about 75 mil of rain not long after. So we had all this water running off, which I know is not ideal, but it's better than sitting on the paddock and that crop would have been dying if we didn't have those beds in. So I was pretty pleased I had them at that stage. That's just a photo, May 7th, so what sort of growth and the drainage that we had, it's all nice and dried out. So the 10th of May, we sowed this side of the fence here, which is the hay crop. So that's the oats and vetch, 10th of May. That photo's taken the 27th. That's just another one showing the progression. And on the 1st of August, we introduced the cattle to graze it. Which were actually, in hindsight, that sort of growth stage was probably not too bad for starting grazing. And of course, after we put the cattle in, we got some rain and started to get a fair bit of pugging on that country. And in hindsight, knowing a little bit more about grazing now, I probably should have had those cattle off when they were forecasting the rain that night. So there's incredible pugging that happened overnight, which sort of surprised me. So that was a bit of a learning lesson there. But that's obviously damaged the soil a little bit on the surface there, which is worth pointing out, and that probably could have been avoided to some extent. That's back in, got them back in there again. Put that photo in there to show you the height of the crop on August 22nd. We're starting to have trouble in obviously putting our electrical fences up because it was just getting too high. So we've got the truck tyre out, put that behind the four-wheeler and drag it up through the middle and get a wire up that way, which seems to work really well. Worst part's driving across all the road beds.
Okay, Fraser, with that mix that you put in, did everything come up reasonably well?
Yeah, it was generally a good germination. There wasn't really any failed. There wasn't a lot of fodder beet in there. We didn't put that much seed in either. Actually, in that IBC at the top off down the back is the actual mix that we used for the large seed crop. So it's worth having a little bit of a look there. But yeah, we didn't have a lot of fodder beet. But yeah, everything else was, I reckon, was pretty good germination. Yeah.
You sowed at 2 different depths?
No, I just put it on. I was at a minimum with our drill. I think is 3/4 of an inch, depending on blunt vista. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what setting I had it on, but it would have been around that inch or a little bit less, I'd say. Yeah.
And the small seed box drops it on top? Or?
No, he just puts it all in at an inch. Yeah, yep. That seemed to be fine. Well, it was fairly high sowing rate. I guess it was, all the conditions were pretty favourable, so there wasn't, cultivated ground in that circumstance with the irrigation, soil sure it all sort of jumps out of the ground pretty well. That just sort of, a bit hard to see in this photo, but it shows sort of the amount of residue we're leaving behind. Which, what do you reckon, Nick? It would be 50% that we were utilising, or? Just as a guess.
There's about 30%.
30%.
Sorry, utilising about 60%.
Yep. Everyone likes a good picture of some dung, so it's a crappy photo. Yeah, that's just more of the progress on the September 4th. Much the same. That's getting towards the end of grazing. Can't really see that one. And so at this stage, October 10th, we've finished the grazing. After that, and been recovering for for about a month. We've been regrowing. So this here is just a couple of slides here that I want to show you the sort of regrowth we had, one end of the paddock compared to the other. So this is where the regrowth on the last strip grazed. So it's got the least regrowth. You can see the bottle there, pump bottle, water bottle, which is still not too bad. But you can see where the first strip we grazed is this heaps of regrowth. It was really good, which just makes you sort of think about the grazing of it, grazing management. And that's just a photo showing how the hay crop looked. It's a little bit hard to see there, but it was a pretty good mix of oats and vetch, wasn't it? Like, it's a pretty good hay crop. That sort of shows the amount of cover that we had. There's a bit of manure that's disappearing there. That's sort of probably a pretty average photo for what sort of cover was left when we finished grazing, because we went through and grazed all that there off in just one sort of big hit in October. That was sort of the day before it was grazed there on October 10. And we just sort of let the cattle in and just grazed the whole thing over. Over, I don't know how long they there for a week or something or something.
Do they still eat canola as a fat?
Yeah, it's incredible. Like you let them in a new strip and they just eat everything, like just chomping everything, weeds and all. Just one showing the hay, just showing that actually did happen. They're large bales through there, 6x5. So once the hay was off, and it's worth pointing out at this stage that one of the big advantages at this stage I could see was that cover crop side of the paddock was ready to sow my corn in October. Like I could have had it in October, but the hay wasn't ready till the 21st of November. So that's a massive advantage for someone who wants to grow a corn crop to be able to get it in a few weeks earlier. But that's a pretty big tick for the cover crop. Grazing.
Why was it better? Why was it better that it could have grown in earlier?
Because you've got more chance of getting it off early at the other end when you harvest it, and then you don't have the drying costs associated with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're saying the hay crop you had to leave longer because that's what you cut a hay crop.
Sorry, yeah.
Just the practical side of hay.
So that's so this is after we've grazed and we've got the hay on the top, we're ready to go for the corn. We've run through the whole lot with this strip tilling device, which I won't go into too much, but it just makes a little bit of a strip of cultivation to put your corn in. And I really felt strongly that we needed to do that on particularly the cover crop side, because there was a lot of compaction in the top, top couple of inches, Nick, do you reckon? Or maybe deeper?
Deeper on one end, probably?
Where it was wet plugged a bit, So I thought that was really necessary. I think you probably could have got away with it on the hay side because it didn't have that sort of compaction. That's actually not, that's from a few years ago, that photo. Just wanted to show the strip tiller. That was obviously planting the corn crop in there into that strip till. That's the cover crop area there.
Had you sprayed that out, Fraser, or?
Yeah, we had ryegrass in there and it was still pretty clean to go and a few other species too, so that's, straight out.
What you use?
It was, I think it was just straight Roundup. Where's Luke? Do you remember what?
Couple of days around up.
Yeah.
If there's a bit of re-growth of pulse there, we try to do sharpening. We're near the orchards, got to be
Yeah.
careful with the temporary. So sharpen and round up and oil if you're low around here for what sprays are to kill it.
And so once I irrigated that corner and got it out of the ground, of course I had about 80 mil of rain on top of that. So once again the beds were in action, and you can actually see in this one, because we've cut that, what I call the headland out the end of the paddock, so that you've got all this area for the water to drain into if you have this issue, which, and mind you, a lot of this water gets recycled on our farm. It goes to a big dam, and we just circulated it around. And this was 3 days later. You can see how quickly that dried up, ready to go. And I could really see at this stage that the cover crop, the corn in the cover crop mix was looking heaps better than on the hay. I'm not exactly sure why, because the soil conditions actually looked really good in the hay, because it didn't have that compaction. But anyway. So this is the corn that we've got in at the moment on the 29th of December, and you can sort of hard to see in this photo, but you can really see a difference in the colour and the growth of it. The cover crop's looking a lot better, and that's looking across at the hay area on the left, and the cover crop on the right. So you can see it in that photo pretty well. I mean, just because it looks better doesn't mean that it's going to be better, so that we're certainly going to be following the yields there, because that's really what it comes down to.
Fraser, before you go ahead, what, are you using any bio-friendly fertilisers in your corn here?
I haven't really got into that in this presentation, because that'll be in the next sort of stage of the project. But we use, well, it depends what you call it, environmentally friendly or whatever. But we've certainly used chicken manure as a base. We did put some more gypsum on at that stage. And we used guano as the popper as in the start fertiliser in furrow. But then we the rest of we did a folio of liquid urea, and that was only about 10 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare. That was at about that stage, or a little bit later. And then we've put on quite a bit of urea since then. Trying to get that corn to go as best as it can.
In the hay area, we've had the same treatment?
Yep, exactly the same, yep. The chicken manure was spread on top and not incorporated. So I talked to Nick about that a bit, and we kind of think that we would still get a lot of benefits from that chicken manure, even though it's spread on top, because we had quite a few rainfall events on top of it. So,
Were those photos taken the same day, Fraser?
like I literally took a photo.
The cover crop one, you said it went in earlier, didn't it, or they?
No, they went in the same day.
So they were the same
day.
Yeah, right.
Yep, exactly the same day. Yep. And this may have nothing to do with the diversity, or this may have nothing to do with the diversity, because it's really hard to you know. I mean, there's a lot of different things going on from one side of the fence to the other, which then comes down to, well, is it more about a system on one side of the fence and a system on the other side of the fence, and which one's just, working better?
Fraser, did you do any soil sampling, either for nutrition or biology, to
Yeah, sure. We did. We've done a pretty good sort of soil testing. Nick's going to go into that in his presentation in a lot more detail. So this is just Luke was good enough to get the drone up and just take some snaps of the corn crop. This is the corn crop. really hard to see in these photos, but if you see a better quality one, you can really see that it does look better from air as well on this cover crop side, and saying that's actually on the other side in this photo. So,
When you laser graded Fraser, did you deep rip it after?
I ripped it with the omens before we laser graded it. We had to be pretty, like the tape was in that had been laid like years ago. So we had to obviously rip in the right spot. And then the contractor come through with the laser grader it out. Yeah. And then once that was done, I just run through with that big former that we saw in that early photo. Worth noting though on this paddock that it had a pretty, like it had a failed favour being cropped because it was waterlogged, and then it was cultivated and laser graded and fairly hammered, I would have thought. But when we did the biological testing, it actually still come up reasonably well. And we had been practicing prior to that waterlogging episode. We'd actually been doing all those practices, I said at the start, with the biological farming. So I just found that really interesting, is that the soil actually might be a bit more robust than we give credit for too. Like, you know, I found that really interesting.
You did a regrade more than a major earth.
It was a grade, but it didn't need to move because it was so flat, and we only lasered it to 1 in 3,000, which is still pretty flat. We didn't really, and we couldn't move much soil because the tapes are 200 mils below the surface, so you didn't have a lot of room to play with. Yeah. That's basically it. There's just a few notes that I wanted to highlight that were sort of from a farmer's perspective about it. I should have had that cover crop in, you know, in March, maybe even end of Feb, start of March, something like that, and I reckon it would have changed the figures around economically quite a bit. And I mean, it would have been more green leaf, plants growing for longer. I think we would have got a lot more grazing off it, which there's no reason why we can't do that. We just didn't. The wheels didn't turn quick enough last year by the time we decided to do a trial and getting it in the ground. So I'll be doing that this year. I've got it in the year to go pretty early. Yeah, like I mentioned before, that was one major thing I saw with the cover crops and grazing was it was really allowed you to get your corn in earlier because you can terminate the crop whenever you want, basically. Hugging could have been managed better, like I said, with the stock. If I sort of had a bit more experience, and you know, I think I could have put the stock on a sacrifice area rather than just been running through that good sort of irrigation country. And you know, I could have been a bit proactive with that. Yeah, and the grazing management could have been done a lot better. I think we needed more stock, and I don't know, that was all a bit new to me, so that was an area that could have been improved on a lot of things. Another, like when you're comparing the hay to the grazing, it's just important to note, I think, that the hay section went really well. Like there wasn't much, I don't think we could have done better in the hay side of the fence, but on the cover crop section, I think we could have done that a lot better. Yeah, so that about wraps it up, I think. Any questions?
With the hay versus covers, so fertility and sowing under both of those, what was that? And
Yep.
chemical use throughout the year of growing the hay crop
Yep.
versus the cover?
Nick will go through the soil test stuff in a minute. There wasn't a huge difference anyway, was there, in the study?
Actually, I much of the chemical stuff because there wasn't a great.
Yeah.
But it is in the books there, the
Chemical test. Yeah.
No, like I mean, what herbicides did you put
Yeah.
out
Yep.
prior to and through the growing of the crop?
Well,
and fertilisers did you use?
Yep. On the start of the herbicides, the cover crop went straight in with nothing because it was just cultivated, just banged it in, and it just all come up really nicely. There wasn't that many weeds in it, so that was just a the winter. And on the hay side, because it was later, because you can't sow your hay too early, we had to use Roundup on that side to clean up all the weeds that were coming up before we put the hay crop in. So that was another important point actually. But then at the other end, there was a bit of herbicide involved in terminating particularly the ryegrass out of that cover crop. But I think, yeah, it all got sprayed with Roundup before the corn went in each side of the fence. Yeah, the fertiliser use on those crops was guano, granular guano. I think it was 50 kg. It's in the notes, 50 kgs of guano at sowing, and then I did one foliar urea when it was got a bit waterlogged over winter, and I just kind of tried to give it a little bit of a boost with the foliar urea. So that's about it. Yeah.
Fraser, you reckon if you didn't use the ryegrass in that mix, that you wouldn't have had to spray it?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a bit actually, because I'm thinking about this year and what I do differently. And I'm going to do a bit of both, because I think the ryegrass, if I get it in earlier, it's probably. So this year I'm going to put in a similar mix to what I've been through, but I'm going to sow it a lot earlier. And all those cereals, like the spring type cereals, I should be able to graze them all out. But then I think if I don't have the ryegrass, I'll probably have too big a gap, like I won't have a grass there over the winter, because I think the cereals will have terminated. Because I reckon I will have grazed them past the underneath the first node. So, but I am also going to try leaving the ryegrass out and putting a winter cereal in, so that it won't terminate with the grazing, and it can go through to the spring when it will go to seed, and then we can terminate it with the cattle once the seed heads up. And then I think the only things that should come through after that would be the clover and maybe the vetch, and I'm thinking I can probably just leave that in the hay, in the corn crop. Yeah, so I'm sort of thinking about that. What do you get some thoughts on that, Carl?
Yeah, no, oats would be good in there, like after the grated oats.
Yep.
It'll hang in longer, because ryegrass would be a problem.
Yeah.
That was like
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
If you can avoid that spray, that'd be great.
That's what I reckon. Yeah. And I think it would be good if we could, because I've had it happen before where I've ended up with vetch, quite a lot of vetch in my corn crop, and I haven't sprayed it out.
Yeah.
And it actually grew a really good corn crop. So I'm sort of thinking that could be good if it persists, and the clover too, because I don't seem to affect the yield of the corn crop. So,
Yeah,
but the ryegrass it's be no good.
yeah, that should be something good in the corn.
Yeah. I reckon.
You haven't got any hay off the price there?
No, not in the trial. No.
You'll say what about if you're going earlier, like February, March, putting some more summer species in that cover.
Yeah.
But being mindful of, your corn, obviously, corn, but yeah.
Well, I've been wondering about that, whether to put the corn in or not. And I've obviously talked to you about it a bit. And I was thinking after talking to you that I might put in the corn and the sunflowers in that same mix, because you reckon that they take off if you get them in February, start of March. Is that,
And the buckwheat if you can.
buckwheat?
Yeah.
There you go.
It'll grow mad. Like March, as the heat's dropping off and that is still good temperature, that grows unbelievably fast, and it can really do some good stuff.
Yeah.
Phosphorus and things.
That's good. Yep.
And good pollinator too.
Yep.
And it'll frost out like
Yeah.
you want better than anything.
I think whether it grazes out too.
Yeah, they'll eat it. They'll
Yeah.
graze it.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get the first frost, it'll be gone within 2 days. You can't even see no evidence at all. It
Really?
just disappears. It's unbelievable.
No, I'll have to get onto some. Yeah.
You seem a bit down that hugging. You don't think that sort of helped your soil a bit after you really opened it up and helped with not water on it? the cover crop side?
I actually don't have a heap of experience with the pugging, so I can't really answer. I don't know whether anyone else wants to comment on that. I mean, it obviously does create some compaction. We could see that with the shovel, but having said that, if you had a bit of moisture there and you got the...
May have helped.
Well, I know that we went back, obviously, and had a look at it with the shovel where the pugging was, and I mean, some areas it was pretty bad, but then other areas that actually looked fine once you got the shovel in and got a little bit deeper. It was really just the
top.
yeah. So no, it's a good point. It mightn't be as bad as what I think, but I definitely know from experience with direct drilling corn that I wouldn't have been able to sow into that sort of a crust with my planter. Yeah.
Fraser, just with that pugging, do you think it would have been different if circumstances were different and the cover crop wasn't following that deep ripping and glazing?
Yeah, definitely.
But you're going to obviously have a lot more stable aggregates on the surface without that.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. I've seen it before, not with cattle, but with machinery, where we've sown, we've had no-till for some years, and you get your cover crop in there, particularly on top of a corn crop, like all the residues and everything. If you can drill straight into that, the trafficability is just amazing. Yeah, so I imagine, you know, because the plans are that we're going to get back to more zero till where we can. Like, well, hopefully that's, you know, zero till. And that's hopefully what we're going to see is less of that, like that pugging hopefully won't be as big a issue.
It's not an ideal combination, the disturbance followed by the grazing, is it?
No, and like when you look at the irrigation that we gave it, and then the rain that we had on top of it, and then we're grazing it 6 weeks later, like it's during after winter. It's not. But and once again, that kind of, you know, suggests that the cover crop side, given that we had probably a few issues like that one there, is actually done probably pretty well, really.
So is there any difference in the corn performance where it was pugged bad? Or can you notice any detriment?
No, you can't at all.
Yes, there you go.
No, and that's why, because I knew that I wouldn't have been able to sow plant direct into it with my planter. I used that strip tiller, so I did do that little bit of cultivation, and I, whether that's, you know, good or bad, but you can debate that, but it's growing a good corn crop now, and I mean, you know, that much of it's not, you know, running cultivated probably 20% of the paddock, so you can debate that, but
Fraser, you only pug it one night, what did you leave on there?
The rain, I think overnight, and the next day I could see the damage, so I took them out. And but I may have put them back in too early. Also, because I don't know, you just want to get them grazing something.
That's right.
You know what it's like.
Yeah, I was going to say, like Matt, I reckon, hit the nail on the head. That cultivation, losing that cover for the carrying those livestock. We found, you know, we've got stripper straw, so heavy residue, and then some covers in. The cattle don't make much of an impact if you move them quickly around. But yeah, as soon as you lose that soil cover and they're on the edge, they can make a whole lot less pretty quick.
Yeah, maybe pasture with permanent pasture with good, you know, root network that can hold together a bit better.
Yeah,
makes a big difference.
that corn residue on that you'd have, they wouldn't even touch the soil.
It's incredible. Yeah. But having said that, that can become a bit of a problem. Like, you know, it's been a problem for being passed too much. And that's also why I'm trying to get into the cattle, is because rather than having it cultivate all the time, I'm hoping that the cattle can take the guts out of all the residue that's there and leave you something to work with, rather than, because they just literally, if I just keep growing a corn crop and a cover crop rolled down, I found that even with legumes in there and everything, it was just ending up as too much. It was just too much. So that's sort of a big reason why we're looking at the cattle.